1,111 small businesses in Moncrief.
The first thing I did when I got here this week was went and found Helen Haynes, who's was a midwife before she got elected. I was like, Helen, if I give you the signal, you're on.
You're lucky you had Helen Haynes. I had Chris Bowen offering. I was like, both me and Lisa have had a baby, so that's potentially 6 babies. As 7 babies is, sorry, 7 babies, because of course, is a huge change from where it was in 2007.
We are following all the relevant health advice. I'd ask my staff to work from home, like any in this place, I'm sure.
Daisy is on my teleconferences and then on my partner's Zooms, and we just sort of tag team because we're both working from home. And so it has allowed me to participate in more committees than I did before she was born.
And I found when I was in my first trimester and just dreadfully sick, and we were in that first lockdown across the country, I could be, in my active wear with a blanket around me, and as long as I had sort of a pashmina and bit of tinted moisturiser on, I could still Zoom from here up and present professionally for whatever particular meetings I had online. So that was a godsend.
It was so exciting yesterday that our colleague Kate Thwaites, who unfortunately can't be here for this chat and is also pregnant, gave the first speech virtually via video link into the Parliament. Going forward on childcare too.
Being able to use this technology today means that I started my day by dropping my daughter off at her early education centre.
It was always a big relief, actually, when the baby came, that you could use the proxy vote, which you don't have in the Senate. Is if you're breastfeeding, of course, in the House, you can use the proxy vote, and that was always easier when you're feeding than when you were pregnant to get down there, because you just get onto the whip and say, I'm feeding, please vote for me. So.
I'll be the first senator from a major party in almost 20 years to give birth in office. So it is a bit of a change for the Senate, and you can see that in the rules in the Senate. They don't reflect the arrangements there are in the House to make these things a bit easier. So I think we've got a much further way to go in the Senate, and that's just because we haven't had as many women juggling these issues there, unlike the House.
One of the things that really caught me off guard when I first had Daisy was there was an expectation now in the community that I should not be working, that working mums should have maternity leave. And so as an MP, set the example. And so it wasn't that people were cranky that I didn't get back to work. If I actually showed my face, they go, what are you doing? You've got a brand new bub. So there was almost, and it was actually really refreshing to be in this place where there were particularly a lot of older women in work sort of saying, Lisa, go home, enjoy your new baby. Like there was an expectation now that they've worked really hard and fought really hard for women to have maternity leave, and we want to see our women leaders have some time.
And that's a change. That's a real change of attitude.
Yeah, and it was a real shift. I actually would get criticism if I turned up to work, and they're like, you've got to have time.
I was worried that people in my community, or some people in my community, might think that it would mean I was less dedicated to my job, having to take time away to give birth and care for newborn twins. But what I've been surprised by is that in trying to do my mobile offices each Saturday before they come, every Saturday, at least 2 or 3 people rock up to those mobile offices just to talk twin things. So that they get to the front of the queue and then they go, twins! How are you going to do it? What sex are they? What do you know? Tell me. And the sort of the ownership that they feel over them already has 100%. Actually been really nice.
That certainly was my experience, having 2 children while I was in the Parliament, is that honestly, people were supportive. I got gifts flooding my office of hand-knitted things. But even now, people I may have met once or have never met would like an update. And I think there's something about the relatability. It's, particularly other mums, want to have those conversations, but grandparents want to have those conversations. I think it's, I was scared also. I was really scared. Are they going to think I can't dedicate enough time? But in fact, it's been you get us, you understand us, and it's been really lovely.
And it's the real conversation icebreaker too. So people will just approach you and go, how's that gorgeous daughter of yours? Or, what's my Daisy been up to? I'm like, I'm sorry, your Daisy? funny. But they do feel that sense of, you know, connection, because it's just such a family human thing to do. And that was something that also caught me by surprise. I feel quite lucky and privileged to be back this week, and that I've been able to bring my new baby daughter with me. Not every mum, not every parent can take their child to work. Where to next with the policy debate? Because there's still so much work to do on maternity, paternity leave. There's so many women that don't get the support that we get, or in a position to really campaign for it.
I think that's right, and I think in the pandemic that's not just been post-pregnancy, it's been during. So I'm not sure about where you guys live, but in South Australia the mums groups were shut down.
Yep.
So women with a new baby, that critical point they have for support on their mental health and to make that network, they couldn't do that. Other mums who haven't been able to have their partner through their medical appointments and restrictions on who can be in the birth. And I think for me, it's my second child, some of those things don't feel as difficult this time, and we're seeing groups like Panda are having an increase in women reaching out to them during the pandemic.
Absolutely.
And without those mums groups, there's that opportunity and that point to say, look, are you doing okay? How can I help? This is normal, or this is not normal, whatever it may be.
I come back to the house in those months since to report that things have actually gotten worse for the childcare sector rather than better. I think I was due to give a speech, but it was quite last minute, so I had to sort of grab it off the printer and run to the chamber, which is something I had done many times since getting elected, unflappably. And this time I got there with my 6-month bum and I hit the lectern, and I just had this like sort of cardiac episode where all my shortness of breath, like little feet wedged in ribs, just hit me at the mic. So I was trying to make this attack about women being done over by the COVID response and the inadequacies of the response for women in particular, and I was just gasping for air, which sort of lost the potency of the salient points I was trying to make about government.
I've certainly done a few speeches where I looked pretty emotional, but I just couldn't breathe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And completely waddling the whole time. I know. It loses some of its gravitas.
Have you had people come up and try and touch you?
Well, no, because of COVID.
Oh, right.
Unexpected bonus out of COVID. They're not allowed, within
Can't really elbow bump someone's pregnant belly.
That might induce labour.
In November.